Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 3 steps that I believe are the keys to getting your husband back after a separation. Now, before we dive in, I know that you're going through a huge amount of pain right now. If you are going through a separation, it completely rocks your world and in a bad way, unfortunately. And so what I really wanted to do today is just to remind you to go through and watch this entire video because it's got some really important steps that you can begin to apply immediately and really maximize your chances of saving your marriage, just like my clients like Laurie and Angie and Sarah and all these incredible women who have created such amazing shifts. I want you to have the same experience. So make sure you watch this entire video and it'll ensure that you get the most out of it and really maximize your chances of saving your marriage. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get notified every time I release my latest videos, where I talk you through subjects such as male psychology, learning how to recover from infidelity, and then what to do to manage your way through a separation as well. Now, I know that whilst you're going through a separation, you might be in a couple of different spots right now. The first spot might be that you really want to save this marriage, that you love him and you want to do everything in your power to maximize your chances of saving this marriage. The other spot could be that you're in limbo. You're not sure if you want to save your marriage. You kind of do for the sake of the family and the kids and so on, but there's a part of you that's like, hang on, do I really want to tolerate these sorts of behaviors moving forward? Is he the kind of man that I really want to be with? And you might find that you vacillate back and forwards on a daily basis potentially. And that is very, very normal, by the way. It happens regularly. I speak to women sometimes and they're in a place where they want to save their marriage. And then other ladies I might speak to, they may have booked in for a call with me, but then 2 days later, they're like, oh, I just don't know if I really want to save this marriage anymore and so on. So it's very, very normal. But for those of you who are adamant about wanting to save your marriage, then I think this video is going to be for you, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through 3 really important steps that you need to apply in order to maximize those chances of saving your marriage. Now, I want to be really clear here as well. Before I talk about these points, I think some individuals might feel that I'm just all about just trying to save marriages and that any marriage can be saved. And if you are feeling like that is the case when it comes to my content, I just want to be really, really clear here that there are absolutely scenarios where the marriages cannot be saved. And that's okay. If you look through some of my interviews, you will find people who have saved their marriage. But you'll also find people who have rediscovered themselves, healed themselves, created a whole new sense of identity within themselves, and have realized, you know what? I don't want to be with this man anymore. And that's totally okay. So my intention here is to really ensure that you're doing everything in your power to save your marriage, but worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, that's okay, but you're in a good place yourself. As I said, for those of you wanting to save your marriage, just go through now and listen to these 3 steps because they're going to be really, really important for you as you move forward. Now, the first step that you want to be taking is to ensure that you stop blaming yourself. Now, the chances are that at the moment, because there may have been some things that you think maybe you could have done better, or your husband may have been saying things like, oh, I'm sick and tired of you being so controlling all the time. You've never ever listened to what I want. You're always trying to tell me what to do, etc., etc. If you've been hearing that, then when he says he wants a separation or a divorce, it's a very natural mindset to get into where you feel like, oh, why did I do that? I can't believe I did that. Or you may be feeling like, what am I doing wrong? Why is it he's wanting to just leave me? And so on. So it's a very normal place to get to. However, if you're a follower of my work, you'll also know that I'm a huge believer in taking responsibility, which means that, sure, there may have been some things that you could have improved in and could have done better. That goes with all of us. However, for him to sit there and just say that it's all your fault and it's your problems would be a complete lie. And the reason is, as I said, if you're a follower of my work, you will know that I'm a big believer in each person taking responsibility, which means, let's say he has said that you've been really controlling and it's always on your terms and so on. If that is the case, then he still had every opportunity to speak to you about it, to talk more directly about it, to set some boundaries on it, to work through what is it that it's triggering inside of him so that he can heal some of those things There's so many things that he could have done as well. So it's really important that you don't get into a place where you're just punishing yourself, because there is absolutely two sides here, and he needs to take ownership of that. So yes, you can take responsibility, not blame, but responsibility for some of the things that you've done or you could have done better. And there is an opportunity there for your own growth, but he also needs to take ownership of his part in the journey as well. So that's the first point I wanted to make when it comes to wanting to save your marriage during separation. Now the second step is to surrender the outcome to a higher power. Now whatever that higher power is to you is totally your choice, whether it's the universe or God or whatever religion. Surrendering the outcome to a higher power is the ultimate form of humility. And why that is see, a lot of individuals might feel like they're the ones in control and only they can get the outcome that they're actually wanting. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we look at the universe, we look at the world. You've got planets revolving around the sun, you've got acorns turning into oak trees, you've got all these incredible natural phenomena that occur. There are so many things that are not man-made, that go beyond the physical realm, that go beyond what we're capable of as human beings. And I am such a big believer that when we stop trying to control and we actually allow things to go more into a flow state, the right order of events starts to unfold. It really does work that way. And if you think about it, how many times in your life have you, where you've been really stressed out about something and then you got to a point you said, whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. And then suddenly you might get that thing that you actually want. When we get into a place where we're like, I've got to have this, it has to happen now, I'm so afraid that if I don't get that thing, that it's going to ruin everything. That's what really messes up the process. It messes up the order of events. And if I look at all of the clients that I've worked with who have been able to save their marriages, I can tell you one thing, that pretty much all of them were in a place where they said, you know what, if this works out, wonderful. If not, I'm going to be okay. And they really prayed on it, or they surrendered it and they let it go in terms of the outcome. But a lot of people get caught up in like, I've got to have this now. And look, I understand it. I so get it. It is such a painful thing that you're going through. So my heart breaks for you. But I also believe that in times of struggle, we have to rise above. And we've got to go to new levels of growth and development in order to get those things that we want. And I truly believe that when we surrender the outcome, it means that we ultimately get the best result, whatever that's going to be. If that's to save your marriage, fantastic. If it's not, then in the long run, I promise you, you will be okay. I promise you. But I know in the moment it can be quite scary. But just remember to surrender it, let it go, trust. And that doesn't mean that you just sit back and do absolutely nothing. It just means that you're relinquishing an attachment to an outcome. Once you start doing that, really good things start to happen. I can tell you in my own life, whenever I do that, whenever I let go of an outcome, it's incredible how things flow. But when I'm like, I've got to have this thing now, everything just turns to crap normally. So really focus on that surrender. And one other point I just wanted to make about the word surrender, it's not giving up. It's basically saying, I trust that there is a higher power that can take care of things far greater than what I can do for myself. And I let that go and I put it in the hands of the universe or God or whatever. And to me, that is the ultimate form of humility, because we're saying we don't know it all. So we're going to trust in that higher power. And the third step that you can take is to heal your inner core wounds and find inner peace. We all have inner challenges inside. We all have that little part of ourselves at the moment which is just churning and creating this uncomfortable feeling inside. And it all stems from suppressed emotions that we hold on to. We often don't allow ourselves to truly experience emotions in the way that we need to. We find ourselves thinking about things over and over and over, which suppresses more. And all of those emotions come about as a result of some core wounds that we have. Those core wounds can be things like, abandonment issues, rejection, fear, feeling inadequate, and so on. And we have to work through that process and understand those core wounds to heal those And as we begin to heal those, we tend to live more in the moment. We tend to find greater levels of peace. And if you can go about your daily life having that peace, having that serenity about you, having that just trust and faith, and know that you're going to be okay, and emotionally you're in a really balanced place on a regular basis, then there's no way that you're not going to get the best outcome for you. That's what we've got to remember. Healing on the inside is everything. When we heal on the inside, the external world starts to show itself to us in a beautiful way. That's what we've really got to trust. Now, often that can be quite difficult because we're sitting there just going, but how on earth do we go about this? How do we go about creating those shifts? How do we heal those core wounds? Well, it's difficult for me to explain everything in detail right now in a short video, but a couple of things that you can do immediately is to firstly focus on being present right now. Now, how do you be present? Well, what you do is to start off with just focus on your breath. Just breathe for a couple of minutes, but really pay attention to your breath as you're taking each breath. Now, your brain is going to find this quite challenging. Within a few seconds, you're probably going to notice that you're thinking about something tomorrow or thinking about something in the past, because that's what the brain does. It focuses on the future or the past. We really need to spend more time in the present. So allow yourself to have that experience of being in the moment just by focusing on your breath for a couple of minutes. And then secondly, I want you to really take that time to really feel your emotions as well and be present with them. That doesn't mean you indulge in them, but you allow yourself to actually go through and experience them and feel them. Now, once again, it sounds very simple, but it is quite a complex process. And that's exactly why I've created my Authentic Relationship System training program, where I talk my clients through exactly how to heal at the emotional level, how to recover from infidelity, and how to manage their way through a separation. Not just through some training material, but also through an extensive level of support that you get for an indefinite period of time. It's a really, really powerful approach. It's helped countless women create shifts from within and also maximize their chances of saving their marriage as well. And so, you know, if you are in a position where you're really battling at the moment, you're struggling, if my content resonates with you and you know you connect with my work, then what I'd encourage you to do is in the description section below, just click on that link which just says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time, just so I can learn a little bit more about your situation and just give you, I guess, some steps in order to take you from where you are now to where you want to get to as well. I can't wait to be of service to you. Thank you for placing your faith in me, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. I always love hearing the comments and the questions. So make sure you comment below and I'll respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn how to get your husband to love you again, click this video above. And if you want to learn how to heal from cheating, click this video above. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.